So hello and welcome everyone to the April edition of the Vevox Seasonal Round Up. This is our fourth time running this, so hello again to everyone that's joined one of these before, and welcome to those of you whose first time it is. My name is Ethan Butler. I'm a customer success manager here at Vevox. I work in the education side of things. I work with a lot of universities, and I'm joined here with my colleague Kate, who is a support representative. So, all right, let's jump right into things. So as always with a kind of Vevox webinar, we do look to make it interactive and engaging. And what better way to do that than through Vevox itself? So let's open up our kind of icebreaker poll. So today is National Pet Day. So our icebreaker poll is, if you could be any animal, what would you be?
I don't know if I'm too surprised that dog and cat are the first ones up there.
To be expected.
Yeah.
But get creative and put in your answers. So
I definitely am feeling the sloth.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like I would do quite well as a sloth.
There's kind of opposite ones there because there's sloth and there's cheetah.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not
But
sure
it's nice to say someone else has said giraffe, because I said that previously and I got mocked. So
sorry about that. Something about a long neck.
don't understand about being short, I think.
Not sure who's put dodo. Maybe you're
that's
looking to be extinct, but yeah, maybe they lived a good life.
Maybe.
Yeah, lots of good ones in there. All right, so it's good, nice word cloud building there. We'll let that go just a minute or a little while longer. And,
What would you choose?
oh, I like the idea of being a dog, to be honest. I do a lot of running, and so I like
That's true.
being active and getting out and doing things, but I also very much like sitting and sleeping and being fed by someone else. So
Fair enough.
this is all good stuff. What would you be?
I'd be a cat for similar reasons, minus the running. Just the
Sure.
sleeping and eating.
Fair enough.
Okay, so we just close this off now. And just move on back.
Okay, so just a little look at what's on the agenda for today. So first off, we're going to have a look at the recent Vevox product and feature updates. So we've had 2 updates to the platform in the last few months, one back in December of last year, and the other just a couple of weeks ago in March. That's the 25th of March. Then we'll take a sneak peek into our roadmap for the upcoming quarters. And finally, we'll make sure to leave some time at the end for you to send in your questions and or kind of suggestions. So with that in mind, if you do have any questions or suggestions as we go through, please do put them in the Vevox Q&A. So that's in the same session that you've already joined for that icebreaker poll.
Okay, so to start off by looking at the December 2023 release, so this was a few months ago now, one of the main features that we introduced was the countdown timer audio options. This was very anticipated at the time. It gives you the option to have 6 different music choices playing while your timer counts down while you're doing questions. So it really adds to the gamification of Vevox, while also energizing those moments while people are looking at their phones and waiting for the poll to close or thinking of their responses. We've already had a lot of really positive feedback about the countdown timer, with people saying how much more fun it's made the session and just a bit more entertaining. If you haven't tried it already, we would definitely recommend that you do. There's some very funky music within those choices. So then just moving on, another thing that we introduced was just some deeper analysis on your numeric polling. So before December, you could only view the mean average of your polling results on numeric polls, but now you can also view the median and the mode. So it's just a way of giving you some more deeper insights into your polling results. We also enabled it so that you could download all of your images at once from the data section, whereas previously you would be doing that one by one. So as shown on the screen, to do that, you would simply go into your data tab and then go to download all images, the same place where you would download your data report. So this is particularly helpful if you're wanting to get all of them downloaded to put in a report or a presentation. And then lastly, in the December release, we also updated our participant app. So we really wanted the participant app to mirror the dashboard more. So we've added real-time results, correct answer explanations, and the countdown timer to the app. So this just really helps the participant experience. So if they're in a big room, for example, a conference or a big lecture theatre, if they can't quite see on the screen or they don't want to constantly be looking up, they'll have all of that information on their phone as well. And again, with the gamification, having the countdown timer on the device just adds that little bit extra pressure to get your answer in on time.
Perfect. So moving on to the kind of March release. So as a reminder, this was just a couple of weeks ago on the 25th of March. We had kind of two main parts to this update and this release. The first of this is speed scoring. This is otherwise known or can otherwise be known as fastest finger first functionality. And essentially what it means is that when you have polls with correct answers associated to them and you run a kind of a leaderboard, it will stop more than one person from coming in first place. So I'll show what this looks like in just a moment, but in order to access or to turn on speed scoring, you simply go to settings from within your session, then under features, scroll down and toggle speed scoring to be on. So this is what it looks like from within the dashboard when you're kind of running your polls with your participants. So firstly, on a poll by poll basis, when you close the poll on the right-hand side below your correct answer explanation, you'll be able to see your fastest respondents and the average amount of time it's taken for all of your respondents to answer. Additionally, when you open up the leaderboard, you'll be able to see who has come in first place. So if there's, let's say, 3 people that have come in first place with this example here is 7 out of 7 questions correct. You can see here that Finn Nichols is in actual first place because he has answered in or less time in comparison to the other people that have got 7 out of 7. You can also see on the right-hand side again, kind of the average amount of time that people have taken to respond. All right, so the next kind of main part of the release is something we're calling previous questions. So this is something that allows you to look back and search at previous sessions that you've used and add questions from those into your current session. So previously, in order to do this, you'd have to know which question you wanted to find. You'd have to find the session that existed within, go into that, export that poll, and then import it into your current session. This previous questions functionality means that you can simply, within the create new dropdown, click previous questions. You can, there's a search bar at the top. You can search a question title in there and simply press add question to add it to the bottom of your session. So kind of really streamlining that functionality of needing to use questions from previous sessions. The previous questions are as of the release date, so on the 25th of March. Finally, just some kind of smaller improvements. So we have dark theme within the Vevox dashboard. So this has existed for a while within the participant app, but we now have the ability to have dark theme for those kind of presenters or people using the Vevox dashboard. And then we now also have the ability to reorder choices when creating multiple choice, ranking, and XY plot questions. Then with the place on choices on image question type, this has actually moved from the multiple choice question type to a subtype within the pin on image question. So no change in functionality there, simply a change in kind of where it lives. And then finally, we've added some kind of simple descriptions to all of the poll types, just to tell you what it is that they do, just to make everything kind of a bit clearer.
Okay, so now we're just going to pop off for a quick quiz. Keeping in theme with what Ethan said about this being National Pet Day, these are some animal themed questions. We haven't made them particularly difficult, but this is just so we can really show off the speed scoring feature and how it still gives first place every time. So I'm just going to start the first question. So what is the most common type of pet in households worldwide? Would you say it was cats, birds, dogs, or fish? Okay, so on that, we've got majority of people have gone for dogs and then cats, and some people
surprisingly a fair amount of people have put fish and birds. Yeah, interesting.
The correct answer for that one is dogs. I have a cat, but I do know quite a lot of people here in the office have dogs, so that does tally up. So the next question would be, which pet is known for its ability to mimic human speech? A dog, a rabbit, a parrot, a hamster, or a guinea pig? So unsurprisingly, everyone has gone for parrot on that one, which is of course the correct answer. And so on the right hand side here, you can see where we've got the speed scoring coming into play. So obviously this is an anonymous session, most of ours are, but if you do identified, you'll then be able to see the names of the people on the right hand side who have got in their question fastest. So we can see the quickest person got in at 3.2 seconds. So they're all very close actually, the first three. But you will see on your phone as well where you placed and how quickly you answered. And we also have the average answer time there at the bottom as well. So on to the last question. Which pet is believed to provide therapeutic benefits to its owners? Is it snakes, tarantulas, turtles, or dogs? Okay, so we've got most of people gone for dogs, and at least one person has gone for snakes, which is very interesting. And the correct answer is, of course, dogs. And so now what we're going to do is we're just going to pop over to our leaderboard quickly so we can see the speed scoring once again. So as Ethan demonstrated earlier, on the leaderboard, we can see the top 6 people, and we can see them based on their speed of answering. So as predicted by the slightly easy quiz, everyone that's come at the top has gotten 3 out of 3. And so it is then done based on how quickly they answered the questions alone. And again, you will see on your device where you came in at. And we've also got the little tidbits on the side with the average answer time as well. Okay, so just moving back. We'll now go over our PowerPoint update.
Awesome. So yeah, in the last just couple of days actually, so back on Tuesday of this week, so the 9th of April, we had an update to our Office 365 PowerPoint integration. So the first kind of main parts of this update is essentially speed scoring, so what we kind of talked about a lot already, but it's bringing this functionality that exists within the dashboard, within the PowerPoint integration as well. And this is something we're trying to do a lot of, is ensure that any functionality that it does exist within the dashboard exists within the PowerPoint, so you can kind of use one or the other and there's not many differences. In terms of how this looks, so you can see it on the right hand side there, you've got your position, your participant name, their score and their time. And so yeah, this looks exactly the same pretty much, or has all the same information as the Vevox dashboard does. Next up, we've got images. So to explain what this means, previously, when you added an image to go with your poll within the Vevox dashboard, and then you went and added that poll into your PowerPoint deck, the image would not come across, except that is if it was a pin on image question. But since the update on Tuesday, the image now actually comes across. From conversations I've had, this feedback has been shared with us quite a few times.
Yes,
so
we've got it in support as well a few times, so quite excited about this one.
Yes, so it's very nice to see this functionality in PowerPoint as well now. So yeah, that's great to see. Finally, just some other updates. So Kate talked about this one earlier, but within the sense of the dashboard, but we had mean average within the integration before, but now we have mode and median averages included on our numeric questions as well. For the word cloud, text colors are now actually automatically defined by the PowerPoint design theme. So if you have, let's say your company or university has purple and green kind of design themes or colors, you can expect kind of your word cloud to follow those sorts of colors. Next up, we have a couple of improvements. So the first of these is to the resizing of the QR code on instruction slides. And then the next one is kind of layout resizing for different slide sizes and dimensions. So previously, as I understand it, kind of the integration only really worked with the widescreen PowerPoint mode, which is at the moment kind of the standard version, but the older version, which I think is 4.3, didn't really kind of fit on screen, but it now should, which is really good. As I understand it, you guys got a lot of that in support as well.
Yes, we did, yeah.
So it's another nice one just to fix based on the feedback we've had. Finally, we have an alert to inform users when one of the two slides, whether that be the question slide or the results slide, is deleted, so that it actually breaks the link with the pair, so it kind of doesn't work.
Okay, so then moving on to our roadmap for the rest of the year. Before I start on this, I do just want to point out that the following items are planned and are being designed and investigated, but they don't currently have any fixed release date on the roadmap. So to begin with, I'll quickly go over what is predicted to be the short-term features. So we're looking at summer, autumn this year. The first one I am very excited about. I feel like I've said that a lot in this session actually, but this one will be creating your polls directly from PowerPoint and Teams. I know in support we've had this quite a lot, and it will really improve the ease of when you're creating your presentations without having to go back to the dashboard. From that, we're also adding in the option to set specific options per poll. So you can change the countdown timer, the countdown length, and also whether or not you want to have the real-time results on per poll. So for example, with this session, it could have definitely benefited from that, in that when we had a couple of the icebreaker question at the beginning and then a quiz question. For example, we could have had the icebreaker question without a countdown timer and with the real-time results showing, but we wouldn't then want that for the quiz section because otherwise people would know the answers to our very difficult quiz. The next thing would be a new poll that we're looking at introducing, which would be a ratings scale in the form of a slider. And then the ability to shuffle questions in a self-paced survey or quiz. So for example, if you had a survey, all of your participants could potentially see a varied order of these questions if you turn that on. Images as multiple choice options, predefined Q&A tags for your participants to assign themselves. So this could be helpful if you have a particularly big session with lots of Q&A questions coming in. It just saves you that bit of time in the back end going through and assigning your own tags. It also helps if someone has perhaps asked a question that they can assign their own tag just to make it extra clear what they are referring to in their comment. And then we're looking into doing poll result display alternatives. So this could potentially include having a pie chart, for example, to show your multiple choice results. And then finally, on the short term, we've got larger limits for numeric polls. So this would potentially be ranging from somewhere like 3 decimal digits to in the millions, and so it won't be restrictive. And then moving on to look at the medium term, another poll type, so that'll potentially be 2 poll types this year, which is very exciting. This one would be mix and match. So to explain this, if you imagine, for example, in the left-hand column, you've got some English words, and in the right-hand column, you've got some Spanish or Italian words, and then you can match them up to their corresponding friend. So I don't know how many people watching use Duolingo, for example, but I'm sure you can picture what I mean from that. So that one will be quite exciting. And then we're looking into bringing in brainstorming and before and after poll comparisons as well. So that could be if you have a question at the beginning of your session and at the end, you can then compare them next to each other. So that'd be quite a good way to gauge your understanding and the knowledge of your participants throughout the session, and therefore how your session has benefited them. And then lastly, being able to analyse 2 polls against each other using demographic. So you could look at how a younger demographic answered a particular question in comparison to an older demographic, for example. Okay, so we'd love to hear what you think of the roadmap. So we're just going to pop over to our dashboard once again, and we would like to ask you, what features are you most excited about to use from our roadmap? So that is the slides that I've just gone through, the last couple of slides.
I know that, I've been at Vevox for coming up on kind of a year and a half-ish, and it feels like the roadmap, or there's a lot more stuff on the roadmap now than there was kind of back when I joined, and there's definitely been an increase in the amount of stuff that's been included on releases recently. So it's kind of a really exciting time for the Vevox platform. There's a lot of stuff that's come in recently, and there's a lot of stuff coming as well, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I've been here nearly a year, and the amount of stuff that's been added even in that year is amazing.
Yeah, so there's loads of really good stuff in there. So mix and match is coming out as kind of the biggest, so that's interesting. And then before and after, I really like the idea of before and after. So working, as I said at the start, kind of I worked with universities, and I think the idea of running like a knowledge check, like what do you know about this, or what do you feel about this, at the start of your lecture, and then running all of the content throughout, and maybe changing student views or participant views throughout, and then an hour later running that poll again and seeing how that changed, I think is really, really interesting, and helps kind of reinforce kind of the learnings and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's so yeah.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of those ones, isn't it? And mix and match.
Brainstorming appearing big there.
Yeah.
Demographics coming up a couple of times. Creating polls in PowerPoint. I'm definitely looking forward to. Definitely
yes,
looking
like I
forward
said,
to
that's
that.
probably my probably my one that I'm most looking forward to at the moment.
Yeah, I think that word cloud nicely covers pretty much all of the most of the things within the roadmap, which is good. So it's nice to see that lots of people are excited about lots of things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I'll just close that poll now. Thank you to everyone that answered that. And then if you weren't able to get everything into the word cloud, or perhaps if you have any features that weren't mentioned on those last couple of slides but you think that you would really benefit from, please put them in the Q&A now. We would love to hear those. So again, we've got the joining instructions on the screen now, although I imagine most of you are already in the session. And just to say, before we start the Q&A, that our next seasonal roundup webinar will be 3 months exactly today, so on the 11th of July, where we will again review our newest features and hopefully see quite a few of the ones that we explored on the roadmap.
Okay, so yeah, as Kate said, do put your questions or suggestions or thoughts about recent releases or the roadmap into the Q&A. Make sure to like and kind of upvote other people's comments and questions. But just to say, before we jump into the Q&A, the roadmap and any feature releases that we have are very much driven by the feedback that we receive. And if you send us feedback, it does go directly to our product team kind of for consideration. And the more that we receive of a certain piece of feedback, it kind of adds weight to that to be kind of developed going forward. So whatever it is, just let us know. Most of the time, it's something that we've heard before. So it just kind of gets added to, as I say, adds kind of weight to those potential features. So do let us know. Let's go from top. So looking forward to this. Let's go ahead and just add that. Countdown timer sounds are awesome. Yes, they are. I know internally we've had kind of, there's been some kind of jokes and stuff about this. I think
a lot of dances.
A few people internally have wanted this for a long time. So it's nice that they've been kind of appeased now. So with the previous question feature, will it pull up all questions that exist in all your sessions? So the answer to this is, I guess, unfortunately, no, it will not. It will pull in all questions that you have created in any session, but after the 25th of March, so when this was released. Unfortunately, it's just I hope, as I'm sure you can understand, it's just a massive amount of data to go ahead and search back. It's kind of years and years and years of polls. So a decision was made to not do that. But any questions or polls that you've created since the 25th of March will very much appear in there. And a little workaround that I found for this is, whether it's a workaround or not, I don't know, but if you just simply go and edit a question that you've made in another session, press edit and then press save straight away without changing it, it then appears in your previous questions list. So a little bit of a workaround there for you.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Do you still use the Android app, or has it been replaced by just the web app? Do you want to say this one?
Yeah, so it has recently been replaced by the web app. We found that not a huge percentage of people were using the Android app. So after a lot of deliberation, it was decided to just focus on the web app. It allows us to spend more time focusing on the web app as well as the product itself, just freeing up our developer resources. Yeah,
so kind of on that, I mean, previously with the Android and the iOS app, we would develop the participant experience across Android, iOS, and the web app, which is kind of 3 separate platforms. But by consolidating all of that work into one, it has allowed us to speed up development and add more to the roadmap. So we definitely see it as very much a positive step forward, especially as Kate says, like with the usage of it was just going down and down, so we thought it wouldn't be missed that much. All right, does alt text come through with images and questions added to PowerPoint?
That is a good question.
It is a good question. We don't know the answer to this, unfortunately, but whoever asked this, if you could send it to support@vevox.com, and we will definitely be able to get an answer to that soon. I'm sorry I can't answer that for you now.
Yes, we will get back to you on that one.
How do we send in feedback? So
if you have a particular contact in customer success, then we'd advise that you go to them. If you're not sure if you have a particular contact, if you just email us at support@vevox.com, and we can either send back the feedback for you or put you in touch with your customer success manager, who will talk it through with you and pass it on.
Looks like that next one is probably one of the Vevox members, someone from the Vevox team. And then, can I schedule a demo for my team? Yes, I'm sure we can do that. We just need a little bit more information from yourselves. If you just email hello@vevox.com and ask for exactly what you've asked there, and maybe if you can provide a little bit of information about who you are, what you're looking to do, why you're interested in Vevox, that'd be very helpful, and you'll have someone get in touch quite quickly, I'm sure.
Okay, so we've got, I think these are part of the same one. So a rectangle selection feature for the pin on image type questions would be great. So it sounds like a feature suggestion, or a lasso trace type tool for pin on image.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's
definitely.
A good suggestion. We'll definitely make a note of that and pass that on to our feedback team.
Yeah. Great presentation, guys. Thank you. One quick question: does the speed scoring also work with the PowerPoint add-in realize feature? So yes, it does. So this is the PowerPoint add-in update that we had on the 9th of April. So just a couple of days ago, brings the speed scoring in. You will have to make sure that you turn speed scoring on within the settings within the Vevox dashboard. So that's just go to settings within your session, go to features at the top, and then turn on speed scoring. And then when you show the leaderboard within PowerPoint, you'll be able to see who's kind of come first based on the speed scoring. And in addition, on a poll by poll basis, participants themselves will be able to see on their phones where they've come, if they've answered quickest or not.
It might also be worth mentioning that this is for the 365 PowerPoint add-in as well.
Definitely. So yeah, we have two PowerPoint add-ins. The update is very much to our Office 365 PowerPoint add-in, which we'd very much like everyone to use. If you're still using the other one, we'd recommend getting in touch with us to find out how to switch over to the new one. It has a lot more functionality and it's kind of easier to use.
We are also still running our weekly webinar on getting started with the PowerPoint add-in as well, which I think was mentioned at the last seasonal roundup as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, I think we'll go ahead and end the webinar there. But yeah, thank you again to everyone for joining. And yeah, we'll see you in exactly 3 months' time for the next one, where our lovely colleagues Kyle and Lewis will be running that. So looking forward to seeing you there.
Right, yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.